This is our new HaulMaster 2,000-pound utility trailer that we got from Harbor Freight that we put together. It comes in about 6-8 different boxes, literally the whole thing from wheels and tires to all the pieces of the frame to nuts, bolts, and just everything to do with this trailer other than the decking comes in boxes and you put it together. We've got a whole video on that if you want to check that out. When we left this off, we had no decking on it, and that was about it. We had not taken any maiden voyage. And now we've actually used the trailer a few times. We put some 1x6 decking on it. So we'll show you that here in a moment. But today we're going to add something new. They will continue, they being Harbor Freight, will continue to add different accessories that are kind of supposed to be, you know, bolt-on accessories to this trailer. That's kind of the idea of this trailer. And today we've got the fencing, if you will, to go around the back, the sides and the back of it, as well as on the front. Not sure if they even have a back on it. But also we have the ramp kit to install on it as well. So let's go ahead, take a look to see what's inside the boxes, and then get started on putting it together. So right here are the two ramps, the actual ramp kit, where these are going to actually tuck up under the back of the trailer. The ramp kit is over on the floor. We'll throw those up here on the decking after we get through with the fencing or the railing. Probably shouldn't have called it fencing, probably more of a railing, if you will. We're assuming it's probably, 18 inches high or so, maybe 12 inches. This is some of what came out of the packaging. So we hope that UPS delivered this okay. You can see it went through quite a beating getting here to us. So this is the complete, rail system. So top rail system, 5 feet by 10 feet. That's the trailer. Little word of caution, not word of caution, little tip, if you will. This is the 1x6 decking, and this is actually 5/4 board. So in other words, you get a true 1 inch of board thickness versus a typical 1x6 or 1x4 would be only 3/4 of an inch thick. So this is actually 5/4 built board that's built for decking. Now, when we installed this, usually they'll tell you, oh, make sure you put an 1/8 inch gap in there for expansion, contraction, blah, blah, blah. We butted these boards together. They are pressure treated 5/4 inch deck boards, 5/4 inch by 6 inch deck boards. And we butted these together, and you see I can stick my pinky in between them. I can almost get my index finger in between them. So do not leave a gap in these when you put these on. Put them on, butt them against each other if they're green. If they're green pressure treated, they're going to shrink, especially if you're in the summertime at all. I mean, even the links shrunk. These things were butted. I had them all nice and tight because I knew they would shrink. So just thought I'd give you that tip. You'll have plenty of gap once it shrinks up, but if you put a gap in there and then it spreads, you're going to have an even larger gap. So alligators and crocodiles could fall through those gaps. Anyway, let's get started on getting this rail system unboxed, and then after we do that and get it completed, we'll work on the ramp system. Forgive me if you hear the fan blowing, by the way. It's pretty hot in the shop. Anyway, I think we're pretty much guaranteed that there's probably some missing pieces because, as you saw, there was only like 2 screws in here. One short one, one long one. Have a feeling that's probably not right. Looks like there's a couple of T-handles there that probably the screws go through there. And I would assume we're needing at least 4 screws. And probably screws that go through there. So I'm assuming probably 6 screws, 4 long ones and 2 short ones, or vice versa. Anyway, pretty guaranteed that there were probably screws missing. Also, it looks like everything's even except for, I have a lot of these T's. It looks like we have a left-right type of situation here, and we're missing one of the lefts or the rights. Anyway, so just by my quick recollection there, I think we're going to be missing something, but let's go ahead and roll on as fast as we can and get this thing going. Looks like we're going to be burning a lot of these. By the way, if you watched our initial video, this is kind of the brains behind this trailer here. And it's kind of like a T-nut that locks into these railing that looks like unistrut. So literally you just put these in and you turn them 90 degrees. And then as you screw it in, that basically locks it in. So brilliant design, and works really, really well. But anyway, so we're going to put this thing together and see how it does. But bottom line is a lot of these T-nuts and fasteners. Looks like for every T, obviously we have 3 of them. So 3 nuts, as well as 3 bolts, 3 lock washers, and probably 3 flat washers. So a lot of washering to do. Again, forgive the fan running. So the first thing we need to do is install 3 of these stakes, or actually they're saying 6 of these stakes. We're going to actually install 9 of them really quick, or 8 of them really quick. Anyway, we're going to install a few posts. We're going to install 3 on each side on the front. So one's going to go right behind this square here. One's going to go right behind this one. And then one's going to go right in front of this fender brace right here. So we need T-nuts in each one of these. And then we're going to install these with 2 of the bolts. And again, if you watched our first video, then you see that these just go in here like this and just turn and lock into place. So you're going to need something long to stick your finger, get your fingers in between that strut's not any fun. So something long socket to get in there and start those threads. Again, you want a lock washer and a flat washer. Now on the front it says measure in 16 inches in, and one post is going to go there and one post on the other side. And here on the rear is pretty much rinse and repeat here as well. We're going to take our T-nuts and we're going to put them right here in front, or actually in back of the fender bracket. And then right here in front of the corner bracket. Now we're going to take one of these T-brackets, 4 of these bolts and 4 of these T-nuts, and start our top post, or I guess I should say front post. It's actually front rail. We've already done all the posts. And the front rail is going to sit on top of the front posts. Pretty self-explanatory, really. And it's going to span the entire trailer. The side rails will meet up to the front rail. So the front rail, again, will go all the way across, and the side rails will butt up into it. Let's just get these started on each side. Okay, I've got those all just finger tight. Now, if I need to, I could shift this over just by kind of knocking it over. So I'm going to leave that just finger tight until I get the side rail started. And the same thing's happening right here as well. T-bar, 4 bolts, 4 T-nuts. And you can see here's where I'm talking about. The rail is going to butt up to the front. Now on these rear rails, these two holes are going to go up. They're going to go towards the back and on top. So the rear rails are the same, or at least the two rear side rails have these little two holes in them that will go towards the back and on top. Now these last two these posts on the rear are actually going to go into stakes. And so these stakes are going to mount here with these little side things here, these little side mounts. Now, remember we mentioned in the beginning, I'm missing one of these that UPS must have lost, so I need to wait until I get those. But I'll go ahead and mount up the posts on here, and basically they want you to, and remember, on this rear rail, these two holes are going to go up top just like the two holes there. So there's no holes here, so make sure your holes are on the top. And then I'm going to mark 25.5 inches in and 25.5 inches in, and that's going to be our center mark for our T's. Okay, so we've got our vertical posts on, we've got our rail on, and I've got two clamps basically holding this whole back section on so that we can attach these stakes. I have enough for one complete set. We're going to go like this. We're going to use our same old T-nuts that go in here and the tracks to do that. You're going to have a flat washer that your long bolt goes through here, and then it's going to go through here, and then a nylon washer is going to go on there. And then your stake pocket is going to go on. And another nylon washer, and your other bracket, and another washer, and then your nylock nut. So that's your locking nut. I have the wrong bracket on there. There we go. And that's going to go something like that. And there you have it. So you have like a stake system here where now you can pull that bolt out and pull this whole unit out, and then these actual plates will stay on here. Okay, I may have lucked out. I thought that maybe we had missing screws for these, but I think we may be okay. I believe one of those goes there. Two of these go here. Okay, forgive the background noise, a lot of rain going on today. Much needed, by the way. Anyway, so we've got the railing set up on the trailer. We're going to move on to the ramp system. Pretty self-explanatory. Basically, these two pieces here mount up under the trailer and will provide the rails like this for the ramps to actually slide into. So just 3 contact points or 3 assembly points on here. We're going to use big square washers and a spring washer or a lock washer with the bolt, and along with the T-nuts to go under there. So let's get those on, and then we'll mount this here on the back side of the trailer once we get those up, and these little flags or closers go on there as well. So once we start getting it together, you'll see what we're talking about, and pretty self-explanatory. Piece of 2x4 will work out very handily because we have to space it 3.5 inches off of each side. And also, we want to keep these 14 3/4 inches. So I cut a 2x4, 14 3/4 inches, use the width for the 3.5 inch spacing, and then use it this way to space off the ramp dimension so that we keep it wide enough for the ramps to go in. So the slots on these are about 2 inches inward, And so with the 3.5 inches, I know that makes me about 5.5 inches. So I went ahead and put me a mark at 5.5 inches in, and then I know that's about where they go. Which, by the way, make sure that your screws to your planks don't get in the way. And if you're using 1x6, you should be fine, because this should be almost in the gap of where it needs to go. This wiring here runs across the back of the trailer, and it did zip tie to these adhesive places right here. But what I was able to do was actually tuck it up under here, and I think it will clear that bolt no problem, even when I tighten it down, to keep that wire in that channel, but then I don't have to have it stick into here, and it won't get pinched by this rail system. So a 9/16 with a universal should do the trick here. A 9/16 with a universal should do the trick here. Make sure our spacing is good. Okay, we're wrapping this thing up. This other side is going to be just like the one we just did, and then we're going to put the back folding flags on here, which is a very simple process. So we've got the rails done, and now we've got the ramps in and the ramp holders on. By the way, the ramp holders run about 130 bucks. The ramps themselves run about 130 bucks. Not sure on the rail kit. I don't see them available at Harbor Freight just yet. They sent them to us, so we don't have a price on that. We'll follow up in the description with a price on them. The trailer itself is now $1,200 or $1,300, I think $1,299. So check it out for yourself. Also, keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. And if you don't mind, hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Have a great day and keep smiling.